Istanbul, Turkey. Batu, throat cut.
Josua Arredondo Garcia, beaten to death.
We aren't just killed, we're killed in the most brutal ways.
Horrid things happen to us. We don't make it up.
You don't have to cut my head off. Do you really have to stab me 17,000 times to make sure I'm dead?
Knives, guns, bottles, and they just do it because they figure that they can get away with it because no one cares about us.
2 unidentified transgender people were found tortured and burned.
Mikey Vallejo Sieber, a 3-year-old baby boy from Riverside, California. Mikey was routinely called a sissy by his father. He was brutally killed by his father, punched, kicked, and dropped on his head.
Fernando Vasquez Roque, tortured and beaten to death.
And when these things happen, no one intervenes. It's just okay to treat trans people as disposable.
No one really knows how I died because the police didn't disclose it. But it happened in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on October 11, 2010.
Another young person got shot, and she was trans, so big deal.
First question is I want to ask if you could raise your hands if someone you know, including yourself, has ever experienced abuse or violence in a relationship. Let's take a look around. Thanks. The second question is, I want you to raise your hands if you or someone you know has ever been attacked or harassed for being trans or gender nonconforming. Take a look around. The third question I want to ask is, if you could raise your hand if someone you know or you has ever been sexually assaulted or experienced any kind of sexual violence. Please take a look around. I want to ask if you or someone you know has ever been incarcerated. Please raise your hand. Take a look around. I want to ask if you or someone you know has ever struggled to have stable housing. Take a look around. I want to ask if you or someone you know has ever struggled to have stable health care or employment. Take a look around.
The world would have us apologize for our very existence.
The goal is to never have another Transgender Day of Remembrance.
We're here because these lives matter. We're here because our lives matter. Thank you.
When Justin told me in December she was trans, there was a transition period for me a little while. Just a few months, but there was a transition period and a mourning period for me of losing my son. I no longer have a son. I now have a daughter. The graduation was a very joyous occasion, a party. I felt like I graduated. And, you know, it was very joyous because it was a difficult year, and she did it, and it was a great day. I was very, very, very proud of her and her accomplishments and getting her diploma, and she was on her way to her new life. She's graduated, she's almost an adult, she's still 17, but she wanted to go and take an adventure.
Him and his friend Ryan said, hey, we're gonna go to Humboldt. Once they were there, they made up every excuse in the world not to come back.
This is Clam Beach. This is the place that Chloe and Ryan first came to when they got to Humboldt. And they lived here for several weeks, just living on the beach and enjoying themselves, not worrying about much else. And this is also the place that I came when I moved to Humboldt. This is the first place that I slept as well. D Street was a really hard environment for Chloe to live in because she had too much free time on her hands and a lot of time to think and stress out about how she was gonna make it from day to day.
Chloe came out to me about 4 months after knowing Justin. She came over to my house and we broke out all my clothes and skirts and shirts, and at the time she didn't have any girl clothes, and put her in one of my friend's bras and gave her some panties, and That was the first time I saw her happy since the day I met her. That was the first time.
She came out to Hannah first, and that was like, I think helped her to actually come out to me. Her dad was the last person.
Even after he graduated high school, just thought he was a normal teenage boy trying to find himself and what he wanted to do with life. And I got a letter. I've only shared this letter with one person. The letter says, "Dear Dad, there's something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time, and I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I know it took my mom a while to understand, so I know this is going to be a major shock, but Dad, I am transgender. Basically, that means I was born with a female mind and spirit. This is no one's fault. You and my mom did nothing wrong to cause this, although it explains many of the frustrating and seemingly unsolvable problems you and my mom experienced while raising me."
She actually has a piece of artwork that she made that has everything pretty much outlined exactly right there. Like, she did it herself, you know, you could look at that. And she wanted to get a job and move to Arcata and get back and motivated about school. I mean, she just wanted to be successful and do the things that she enjoyed, because there were a lot of things that she enjoyed doing, you know what I mean?
When we were camping, she was very reserved. She wears her hoodie over her head, and it was hard to get her to come out and be her. It was hard.
She would not go out in public as a female with me. She was too afraid of what strangers would think.
It was too hard. It was just too hard.
Her brain really worked like a girl's. I mean, that is one thing, like, once you met her and you knew Chloe, like, she was a female. Like, there was no, like, doubting. I never, like, could call her Justin after that because it was so real to me.
You know, she ultimately felt like people would think she was a freak, like, no matter.
She knew what popular guys talk about, what teenage boys think of weirdos, of gays, of transgendered people, and she knew that their thoughts would be going through their head like, this person is a freak.
You know what I mean? Because it's like around our house, it was comfortable, it was like our safe zone. She could be herself, she could, like, whatever, you know, and then as soon as we were gonna go grocery shopping, you know, Chloe would run upstairs and then Justin would come down, you know what I mean?
She ended up getting stuck in Eureka when where she really wanted to be was Arcata. But to move would require an income and a job which she didn't have.
And then that goes along with the standards of care. Those financial issues were, if she can't even afford food each month, how is she gonna afford therapy once a week? How is she gonna afford the surgery? How, you know, like, what am I gonna do to have this extremely expensive procedure done?
Chloe was lost. She was overwhelmed.
And I was just trying to be like, you know what, you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps, you need to get your, you know, ass and, like, look for a job.
Get off of D Street. Just get out of that house and do anything besides what you're thinking about doing.
This is what you need to do, honey. This is what you need to do. Let me help you.
You're down so deep that there's no way out.
Everyone's saying, like, you need to try and get a job and, like, rent's coming up and...
Where is your emergency? One of my roommates shot himself. Like, trying to kill himself? Yeah.
I just remember just walking upstairs and, you know, I found her there.
That's when I saw her body. She had shot herself with a shotgun.
His head is, like, completely... I can't look at it like...
She shot herself.
Okay, what kind of gun was it? It's a shotgun. He shot himself in the head with a shotgun? Yeah.
I don't really remember much after that. I remember yelling and screaming, "Oh no."
Okay, do you think he's beyond medical help? Yes, I don't think there's really no hope.
If I could just have one day with her.
I mean, I don't know, just, you know, my good friend that I really fucking miss.
I'm very excited. It's been the culmination of a long time, you know, about two and a half years that I've been in transition. It's almost surreal, you know, things are just kind of going by. I'm really calm inside, much calmer than I expected to be. I haven't really had any blatant rejection yet. My younger sister is struggling very much with it. She's not a bigot, but she's really having a hard time with her brother turning into her sister.
My ex-wife does know that I'm having surgery, and she is not at all happy. Even though we haven't been in each other's lives for years, she does not want it to happen. As recently as about 2 hours ago, I'm still getting emails coming in that are pleading with me not to do this, that it's the wrong thing, that I'm going to be terribly sorry for doing this, and I'm going to ruin my life.
To be able to go through life as yourself is really wonderful. It's like coming out of a cave into the sunlight. Oscar Wilde's quoted as saying, you have to be yourself because everybody else is taken.
I know what's going to happen tomorrow. And I just never thought I'd be this calm about it, but I am.
There will come a time 6 months down the road from now when you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I can't believe I did that. I'm so proud of myself. Wow, I actually finally got the courage to do this, and yeah, it's a good feeling. And you'll feel a sense of wellness that you didn't have before, and that's what makes the whole thing worth it.
This form is so that you understand everything that I can possibly think of that can go wrong.
I'm just ready to get it over with and move on with life. It'll be great.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks.
Wow.
Five, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Patient's name is Federica Field. Her birthday is 6/14/1954. She's here for a gender-confirming surgery, a vaginoplasty, connectomy, bilateral orchiectomy, labiaplasty, urethroplasty, and clitoroplasty. She has no known drug allergies. Does she have what? Levaquin. Levaquin. Okay.
Blood pressure is 104/62. Doctor with a mean of 75.
Excellent anesthesia.
Pretty standard day. We did two patients, but we did 3 surgeries. So we did 2 vaginoplasties, and one of the patients had a breast augmentation at the same time, which is pretty common to have more than one surgery on the same patient. In surgery, all the surgeries are pretty routine, and this one's definitely something they never heard of. When I first started at the hospital, a lot of the nurses were a little nervous. So we did some training, and it's really amazing the teamwork involved. So even though I look like the star, because I'm in charge, it's really the effort of a lot of people are involved. It's a really awesome feeling to just, put your hand back and get that instrument. You don't even have to ask for it. They know what you want,
Removal of testicles, and I'm putting them in formaldehyde to preserve them, and they'll go down to the lab to make sure there's no cancer or other diseases.
One of the key people that help in the surgery is my physician's assistant, Crystal. Her role at that part of the surgery is to take the skin graft, which comes from the scrotum, and prepare it to be placed inside the vagina, which will be basically the vaginal lining. So she fashions it in a circular tube and makes sure that all the hair is removed from it.
How you doing?
Hi. Wow, that was quick.
Yeah,
Is it over?
it's over. It's done.
I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much for being here for me.
My oldest son has pretty much pushed me out of his life, and I think he's confused as much as hurt. My daughter Lisa's 26 years old. I'm not really welcome at her house at this point, and I take what I can get with her. My youngest son, Brian, he's 23, almost 24. Brian has met Pam, and he's not a huge supporter, but very open and willing to have me in his life as Pam, and I deeply appreciate that.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, shit.
How's that feel?
It hurts.
Yeah. Now scoot yourself little by little to the edge of the bed. Put your feet on the floor.
Nice and slow.
And take your time here.
Stay sitting.
Remember what I was saying?
Yeah, but it hurts
The
to sit.
reward is I'm going to scratch your back.
Thank you.
Does that feel good? Today you're going to get out of bed. It'll be like 5 minutes. Right. You might feel, with your blood pressure being low, you might feel a little lightheaded when you do that. So I want you to sit at the side of the bed until you don't feel lightheaded. And watch the snow. Yes. If you think this is hard, when we take the vaginal packing out, you have to dilate 5 times a day.
I heard that's going to be fun.
Yes.
When I got married, I really did love my wife. I loved her very, very much. And I thought I could push the transgenderism away.
And that's the most difficult part for a lot of people, is reconciling the fact that they went all of this time denying who they really were, and now they've got to, they have a need to catch up and to actually live authentically.
And eventually none of it works. You just have to, at least in my case, I just had to deal with it.
I have a hunch with my second wife that she'd always not held out hope that we'd get back together, but had some sense that, well, maybe he won't do it. But she did.
Hey, guess what? I just signed up to go to Philadelphia. They're having lectures on bottom surgery, top surgery, on binding, and like all these different things. But I wanted to know if you could give me a ride to the airport. So are you excited?
I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Planning Committee for the 2011 Philadelphia Trans Health Conference.
I began my transition in 1988, and I had my first consciousness of myself as different in about 1952.
By the time I was 12, I was fully transgender, and my dad says, well, we don't want him back at home. And this is at the age of 13, and I get disheartened when I think about what I went through, but they found a way to commit me. For 2 years and a half, I stayed incarcerated, and primarily because I was transgender.
The requirements for top surgery, it comes up later, are about the same as a hormone recommendation.
I spent 19 years prior to transition as a lesbian feminist separatist. And I gotta tell you, having a penis, it really is something that I had to come to terms with before I even sought out the procedure.
And then I start to talk about, what do you want from testosterone? Because if somebody tells me and they're 5'2" and they tell me they want to be 6'4", we have to have a conversation about that.
It took me another 3 or 4 years to come to terms with the fact that I was going to be perceived as, treated like, and expected to perform as a man in society. which I still, honestly, I have no idea what that means.
It's a wraparound binder, so it's different than your traditional binders where you pull it overhead. You take it and you wrap it around yourself. So it can go as tight as you want it to go or as loose as you want it to be.
I need to breathe.
Right.
If you wanted to, I mean, my son is coming to visit me, and he's a young trans man like you. And if you wanted to, you could tell your mom we could get together, we could have coffee or something. Really? Like the four of us could hang out. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. You know? Oh, wow. No, that would be awesome.
My experience isn't necessarily going to be your experience exactly. So I'm just giving you another perspective to think about.
Yeah.
And you have to make that into whatever you make it into for you.
The first year on testosterone is kind of a wild ride.
Is that what's going to make me a real man? I mean, I was confused about it.
This is what my heaven would look like. People just exploring every type of clothing and every type of just being themselves, and it's just so awesome.
So questions about surgery, anything decent here, or is it always out of the country, and can you have an orgasm after surgery?
Breast augmentation in trans women is completely different than regular breast augmentation. The chest is wider, the nipples are smaller.
You don't get to see this like out in the world, just all of us together, and it's so empowering to be here.
Connected with people close to you, but continue to connect with people outside of you, because this is how we're going to build a stronger movement and a stronger community.
This is going to be your room during the labor process. It's exciting.
Oh, you had a big one there.
I did?
Did you feel it?
No, I'm fine.
So we wait until she has pain, or?
Exactly. I'm
Okay.
going to keep increasing
Okay.
until her contractions are 2 to 3 minutes apart and they hurt.
Okay. They're 5 minutes apart. Easy. Orange or cherry.
Where's the Cool Whip? She's 3 centimeters dilated and baby A's water.
My blood pressure is high.
My blood pressure's higher than that. That's nothing. That's nothing.
I feel pretty relaxed. I don't even feel like I felt more nervous going into like basketball games.
You're regular, man. You're having a contraction every 4 minutes. It's like the Grand Canyon.
This is the worst one.
Oh, she just turned it up.
This is the worst contraction. Yeah, it just really hurts. That push.
Every time she had a contraction, Lucas's placenta wasn't working as well as Eden's, so his heart rate would go down. That happened 4 or 5 times. Then our doctor made the decision to go for a C-section.
Now again, you're going to feel pressure.
I feel pressure.
Sitting on your belly.